Hi, my name is Ali, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate an AI experiment that I have been doing. It's called IntelliLogs. What this system is, it looks at the log data from a few different applications, and it can interpret plain English sentences into commands, and then it will capture the logs and it will analyze the logs. It will classify the logs if it's according more classification than traditionally available out of the box, and it will also be able to summarize the logs. So without further ado, let me quickly demonstrate how the system works. So this is the user interface of that IntelliLogs system. It is connected to it is powered by three different models behind the scene. And then two of them are trained. The system is deployed on OpenShift cluster using Red Hat OpenShift AI. And this cluster is a low-powered uh, consists of low-powered nodes, which has got only one GPU and overcommitted CPU. So essentially, the models that I'm using in the system, the largest model in there is 4 billion parameters. So that means it can potentially run on CPU only as well. So that is one of the advantage of running using this type of models, small LLMs, to create this type of applications. So this is just an interface. This is where I pass the command to the backend system, and the system then looks after which model to use in order to process the whatever sentence I've written in here. And then finally, the output it will generate will be displayed in this section. So without further ado, let's have a quick look how the system works. So if I type in get me logs for the last 1 hour. The system does not, it needs further tuning. Sometimes it plays up, converting the hours, but let's see. In this case, it did convert the hour accordingly. So I say get me logs. So it extracted the command logs and it identified the input parameter, which is duration. And I've said 1 hour is the duration. I did not give it any file, so it says file not available. So I will execute this, and that will go to my log stream service to get the logs. So that's where it's going, and it retrieved about 839 records. Um, and as I was saying, like right now in that the area that the streaming service is streaming logs from one namespace, and I've got three applications running in there. Billing, Legacy CRM, and Simple App, and these are generating errors or informations logs on that. So things like backup completed is an information, whereas this is a deprecation warning. I have scenarios such as security event that's coming up. So right now there is no classification. They're all being output as information. So what I will tell this system now is to classify this log. So let's grab the file name for it. I think this is the file name. Let me quickly validate if that's the case. 3505310451. So that's the file name. So if I say classify logs from, and I just mentioned the file name here, the system, I'm anticipating. Yeah, so it identified the command that I'm asking it to do. Even though it was plain English that says classify logs, it identified this is the command. And this time I've input a file name in there, and it was able to extract the input parameter to this function. So let's execute that function. What this will do, it will start processing row by row, like few rows at chunks. and then it will assign classification to it. So as I was saying, there is this line which is clearly a security event, a breach of security. So it successfully identified that as a security alert. And then there are a few more. For example, it is hardware is failing. I've classified it as error, but I could tune the model to classify it as hardware failure, more granular addressing if I needed to. So that's the classification side, but this is still not good enough for someone who doesn't want to go through line by line and logs. So I want a summary, like things. I want the model to tell me what I need to do, right? So this is where this command comes in handy. Summarize logs from file, and let's grab the file name. So that is the new file name. So these files are being generated behind the scene, and right now it's just loaded in a temporary locations. But further development could be done on this in order to store this data somewhere else. Okay, so it has successfully identified. So I've given him this command, and it successfully identified the command from it, which is summarize logs, and it knows which file to look into in order to do that. So let's execute it. Summarization is a big process, and it does it through chunks, and it's going to take a little bit of time in order to process the entire file. The idea here is this will be we could potentially put that in a cron job type scenarios, where every 24 hours it will run and it will look at the logs and it will summarize the reports. It will prepare the report and it will send the report out. But for demonstration purpose, we'll execute it in here. I'll pause the video and then I'll come back to it when summarization is finished. Okay, so the summarization process has finished. It has processed the final context, and the file is saved in here. Let's see. So let's see how the summarization looks like. I'll go open, see list of the files. Yes, that file is there. Let's open that file. Okay, so this is the log analysis summary, and it requires immediate attention, which is yes. And the reason it thinks that is that's nice. Okay, so this is the output from the model. So let's see what it says. The summary system is experiencing critical combination of security and operational issues, which is correct based on what we are noticing in this table here, the classification table. And then it's saying there are repeated unauthorized login attempts. That is correct. I think that comes from probably the CRM system. So if I go into the CRM, no, not CRM, maybe billing system. One of the system throws unauthorized error. I know that because that's how I've added it. So it has identified that. Finally, there is a significant volume of error logs related to lead conversion. Yeah, that is definitely coming from the legacy CRM system. Features missing features and missing next action fields. That is correct. Potentially indicating data quality or business logic problem. So it has summarized, like looked at all that 800 logs, and it is able to summarize it properly the way it understood, which is, I would say, 90% correct. And then let's see the observation it made. So recurring security alerts and suspicious IP activity. So we saw that multiple security alerts at present IP address. So these are the IP addresses where those security alerts are coming from. So if I look at the data that I have, let's filter by the security alerts. So you can see these are the IP address, so it has noticed those. That's pretty good. Um, what else it's talking about? Um, there are lead conversion issues, so that's coming from the legacy CRM system. Recurring security alert suspicious IP. Okay, so this is clearly not correct. This is a repetitive of this. This is very similar, exactly the same issue. So this is where it messed up. But the rest of the things looks correct. Escalation rule failure, consistent failure escalation rules suggest that systematic where, issue either with the rules themselves or the events triggering them impacting workflow efficiency. I think this is probably coming from, oh, there you go, escalation rule. That's the one. So the CRM system is triggering this. So it has identified that it is a workflow efficiency problem because it's a CRM system. In terms of planning, here we go. It starts suggesting the things that I should be doing. Um, File planning item consolidated with the original information. Prioritize the security investigation. Immediately investigate security breach alerts, focusing on suspicious IP addresses. So that is good advice. Strengthen authentication because there are lots of authentication failure event. Let's have a look if I can see. Clear. Let's have a look. Authentication. Yeah, so this is the one that's talking about. It's a warning that says legacy authentication method will be discontinued. So that's what it's talking about. Um, Strengthening the authentication because it sees that it is legacy. That's great. RAID array recovery. So we had a couple of hardware issue. So if I look for RAID, yeah, so there is the RAID array experiences disk crash. So that's what it's talking about. Lead conversion analysis, root cause of the repeated lead conversion failures. So that is correct. IP address and threat intel. Okay, I have asked it to specifically look into security event because that's one thing that I wanted to focus on. And the sheer number of security breach alerts, so there is 8 of them, strongly suggests that targeted attack, misconfiguration, and unauthorized access. So it has very confident that this is a significant security breach alert, and it has clearly identified that I need to look into the IPs that it's coming from, if it's inside the organization, outside the organization, that sort of scenarios. Review login configuration. So yeah, so that's what it has said. Again, this is where it messed up. This and this potentially are the same thing, but for some reason it identified as two different events. The hardware failures, let's see, frequent disk crash error. Okay, so it has clearly identified exactly where the hardware issue is coming from. Currently, I only have one hardware error that is in the system, which is coming from the billing system. But if there are other systems that are throwing very similar type of hardware scenario, which is RAID array, disk crash, so these are the things that it looks at. And it has clearly identified those. So that concludes my quick demonstration of the IntelliLog monitoring agent powered by AI. I will write a description and put the mechanics behind it and how I sort of came to it, where the source code, all of that into one document, and add that in the description. Uh, thank you for uh, thank you for listening, and happy integrating with AI.